starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Well, we've got quite the storm outside here at the moment and heavy rain, so let me know if you can hear that actually. But welcome to the show. It's going to be fun. Streaming on 3 YouTube channels, of course, the Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulse Chain X, and also, of course, broadcasting on X platform. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, do that, and if you haven't hit the follow button on X, please do that as well. So let's get into it. We've got a bit of a show on today. We're going to be covering quite a few topics around the stock market, around the Iran peace deal, and of course around crypto. And what else? Do you want to talk about Pulse Chain? Yeah, we're going to do that. Richard Hart is in the mix, so it's going to be pretty cool. And a lot of other things. Man, it's going to be a pretty full show. So get into it, folks, and I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to get in the comments as well. We love a lively show, so let's see if we can go. I've almost got the Superman curl on today. Not quite there today, but getting there. All right, let's have a look. We were out in the stock market. Your stocks futures steady after Wall Street rallies on Iran. So we had a really good rally overnight. Let's talk about that. The Dow Jones went up 2.85%. Isn't that spectacular? Up 1,325 points to 47,909. Isn't that amazing? If we look at the last year, you can see we're not too far from the top there. We did get over 50,000. So we've still got about 2,250 points to go to get back up to that level. Otherwise, a nice little recovery as well. And if we look at the last month, we can see that we've started to recover in that last couple of weeks. So pretty cool. We've got the S&P 500 is up 2.5% at the moment. It's 165 points to 6,782. And then we've got the NASDAQ up 2.8%, 617 points to 22,635. So some really nice actions happening there with the S&P 500. And of course, with NASDAQ, you can see both of them recovering on that little mini month chart there. So that's pretty cool. Looking at the VIX is all the way down at 21, guys. Isn't that awesome? So basically risk on back again. We can see we were up elevated a couple of times at 30 or more, but we are back down towards the 20 mark. Fantastic. US dollar also down a little bit there too, 98.91, but it is up just slightly there at the moment, but basically down from that 100 that we saw it tap earlier. So that's kind of neat. All right, so that is the indices. Let's go to the commodities. Well, we had got a nice little pullback last night. It has bounced back a little bit. West Texas there up 3.6% or $3.40 to $97.85. Brent oil up 1.1%, $1.10 to $97.50. So all there did come off quite a bit. If we look at the last week, we can see that we have come down quite a bit. We've got it pretty high up, about $116 there in West Texas, but we're down now. So, and likewise with Brent oil there. So there we go. The last month we've come down there on the last week. Gold at the moment is 4,736. It is down just under 100%. 1%, I should say. Down $39 to $4,738. Silver down 2.6%, $1.95 to $73.42. So the commodities down there a bit. And of course, we did have obviously the excitement there. So the Iran ceasefire has been in focus. And of course, Tehran alleges violations. So, obviously it's going to be a bit of a rough road over these 2 weeks to try and get a deal finalized. While the US and Iran initially signaled openness to a 2-week ceasefire, Tehran on Wednesday accused the US and Israel of violating several clauses in a 10-point peace proposal. Key among the violations was Israel's continued attacks on Lebanon, which Iran said was included in the ceasefire deal, but the White House signaled that Lebanon was not part of the agreement, while Israel said it will continue attacking Hezbollah forces in Lebanon. Remember, you got all these proxies running around that Israel is still trying to, take care of. We got Iran officials said it would be unreasonable to proceed with U.S. peace talks without including Lebanon in the deal there. Well, I don't think it's very unreasonable, but that's what they're trying to push for. Media reports also showed Iran had closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to Israel attacks. So really using that leverage to put a little knife in the side of the old deal. And of course, after earlier signaling it would allow safe passage through the channel during the 2-week ceasefire. And of course, we have seen ships go through. The US and Iranian officials are set to begin ceasefire talks in Pakistan later this week, although the main agenda remains unclear. So a 2-week ceasefire, but very shaky. And we've seen a lot of rockets and missiles come out of Iran. Still a few issues there as well. So oil prices, which initially slumped on the news in the ceasefire, of course, we just talked about recoup some of those losses on Wednesday. So there we go. But the stock market did rally, which is nice to see. And we got a little bit of update we're going to talk about there for the market. So let's do that. Before we go, let's quickly look at the Fed rate monitor and see how that's going. We've got 2 weeks and 6 days to go until the next Fed meeting on the 29th of April. So just under 3 weeks. And we're expecting a no change in April for that. Expecting a no change in June's meeting, a 96%. And July, we should have a new chair by then. And we're expecting no change at the moment. But we'll see with the July changes as we get closer. As I say, if inflation's running between 2.7 and 3.1% based on the CPI and the PCE numbers, and we've got 3.75 to 3.5, we should at least probably get a 50 basis point cut, is my guess. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Obviously, oil in the temporary zone has been inflationary. That will have to wash through a little bit too. But the United States is looking good for GDP and employment. Those numbers are looking pretty fantastic. All right, so that's kind of where we are with the old Fed. And let's jump into some of the commentaries there about the bottom of the market. We've got Tom Lee here just on CNBC, and he's got a little bit of about the bottom being in, as you can see in the title of the video there.
Now let's bring in FundStrat's head of research, Tom Lee, also a CNBC contributor, and as you see here with us at Post 9. It's good to have you back.
Great to see you.
Now what for these markets?
I think the bottom's in, Scott, because last week was a period where the war was getting worse and oil was going up, but stocks weren't going down. So that's a good precondition. And today now we have the rate of change, that the war is de-escalating. So I think stocks are now in the process to go back to their all-time highs, and I think maybe get to that 7,300 that we were expecting this year.
Wow. So let's just remind and refresh people's memories a bit. You were looking for a strong start to the year, stocks falling into potentially a bear market. Yeah. Most of that you pegged to a new Fed chair coming in and some of the issues that might revolve around monetary policy. Couldn't foresee the outbreak of this war and the conflict, et cetera. Does it matter what caused the bear market for how you project your outlook for the year, or are you confident that we had this event, an existential event for the market, it reacted negatively, and now we're going to rebuild our way back?
Yeah, I think things have possibly changed, Scott, because this war pulled forward a lot of repositioning. We know people have gone flat or raised cash, and they were ready to own defensive positioning. And we also had a rolling bear market last year in energy and financials, and this year in Mag 7 and software. So something like 70% of the S&P has already been through a rolling bear market. So I think the possibility is that the summer lull that could happen won't be as deep because we've already fallen 8%.
What's the makeup of the move back towards record highs, like you just said you thought we would do? What does the makeup of the market look like in that scenario?
I think the leadership has been revealed in the last 6 weeks because since the war started, the number one performing asset class has been crypto, Ethereum, and then energy stocks, Mag 7 software, financials. So to me, that's the group that's leading us up. Energy went up for obvious reasons.
Sure. Isn't it going to go down now for obvious reasons?
Yes. And then the negative correlation to oil was the highest in almost a decade for the Mag 7, Ethereum, and software. So I think that as oil flattens or cools, or the curve flattens, those names are going to get a bid, and they've gotten already cheap. We know the Mag 7 is trading almost at a market multiple.
When that we sort of banked on the broadening trade. There was a bent towards value, which it had outperformed growth. Is that mostly over now? Because even with oil elevated, we're still going to ask ourselves questions about a slowdown in the economy, right? Or no?
And there's still a shock rippling through the economy.
Which we maybe haven't felt quite yet?
Correct. Yeah, I think there's an inflation shock still coming. I think that the broadening is taking place. The narrowing is, I think, more investors are going to buy U.S. because the U.S. has proven its resilience in this wartime period. Plus, the U.S. makes more money in a war. But the broadening is that more U.S. stocks rise.
Yeah, but if you're telling me the inflation shock is coming, isn't that going to negatively impact the broadening trade?
Yeah, I think it is out there. We just don't know amplitude because, it's like a wave. Like when it hits shore, is it going to be diminished and are people bracing for it? But there should be some inflation shock coming. It sounds like the Fed is already thinking about, still leaning towards cuts, which is good. We'll get some signal.
Well, right now they feel like they're leaning towards doing nothing for the foreseeable future. And if they believe what you just said and believe, then you must believe that they're going to remain on hold for potentially even longer.
Yeah, and it really depends on if consumers and corporates view this as temporary or a change in inflation. So the surveys will matter a lot, as will the incoming reports. But the Fed Fund futures show the market's shifting back towards cuts.
All right, so
there we go. So that was from Tom Lee there, and he elaborated on that. So we're going to go through his elaboration following that live stream, and that live show, I should say, on CNBC. He said, in our observation, point one, stocks are higher on bad news. From mid-March, oil rose from $87 to $116. S&P 500, the SPY rise was from 6,300 to 6,600, so it was looking pretty good. Stocks rose even as Iran war progressed worse, and of course we know it normally gets hit at the beginning, like the first 10% of the war, and then it starts to get back to return to growth for the right categories. And that's what we saw happen. Point two, positive inflection rate of change. Yesterday's proposed ceasefire is a positive rate of change inflection. Even if this is not definitive, stocks rose greater than 2% and oil down 15%. The VIX under 20 there. So obviously this is all played out, hence our rationale why the bottom is in. So it doesn't mean it's not going to pull back a little bit in the days, but essentially it's the bottom is in, and we've already been rising, and we'll probably continue to rise over time, but with volatility still there as well. Jerry says the bottom is not in there, and that's from Jerry. We got Blair in the house there. Woo! Good to see you, Blair. Hope you're doing well. Hi, all. Good to see Blair in the chat there. It's been a little while too. Great to see you, Blair. All right, so that is some of the stock market stuff and crypto directions. Now we've got the crypto market reacting. Crypto market is down 1.3% today, sitting at $2.48 trillion. We've got Bitcoin at the moment down 1% at $70,759. Ethereum down 2.8% at $2,174 at number two. Number three is BNB down 2.7%, just under $600. And XRP at number five is down 2.7% at $1.33. Number seven is Solana, down 3.3% at $82. And Tron there down is actually up, as it often is, up 0.8%, 31.7 cents at number eight. And then we got number 10 is Doge, is down 3.1% at 9.1 cents. So that's the Dogecoin there. Best performer is Tron, obviously, the last 24 hours. Over the last week, the best performer is still Bitcoin. It is up 3.1% for the week, and Ethereum there, not too far behind, 1.7%. So very, very cool stuff happening there. And little blues clues to, I think, where things are heading for the old crypto. So kind of neat. Now, obviously, as the war starts growing through, the Mag 7 starts returning, as sort of Tom was indicating. Software does better. And of course, crypto is basically software, so it does better as well. So it's going to some of those things playing out there. Top 100 performers, we got Blockchain Capital up a massive 261%, and then we got the Zcash. Now I'm not sure the status of that, so you have to check that one on Blockchain Capital. We got the Zcash there up 26%, Render up 13.4%, Near up 10.3%, and then Morpho up 10%. Top five performers in the top 100 over the last week. Top 1,000 performers over the last 24 hours. We got Research Coin, Xsphere, and Lux Coin. Those are the top 3 in the top 1,000. And then we have the trending overall. We've got Bitcoin again, trending overall. Nice to see that. We've got Fartcoin there. And then we've got, which I think Solana meme is it. And then we've got Zcash as well on there as well. So those 3 are trending overall. We've got Frank White in the house. Good to see you. Bang, bang, Pulse Gang. Good to see you, Frank White. And we got JC in the house there. Reposted the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Then we might as well give that a round of applause for that one. Nice one, James. All right, so let's kick it in. So that is the overview of the markets. Let's have a look at Bitcoin itself on the candles there. We got Coinbase here. We are over the 50-day moving average. That's a very positive sign. So you can see we've pushed up high here on Bitcoin, I should say, and we are sitting over the 50. Very good sign there in the last 3 days. Nice stuff. Our second attempt as well, but back up here it was at 73K. The 50 days only at 70,600 now. But looking good there. So that is a very positive sign. We're still arguably at the top of the range, but the bottom being 60K on the 6th of February. So really bottom of the power law curve, which is tending to be the best model for Bitcoin. But the power floor price is law price is at 53K. Don't know if we will get to there. Obviously, some of the bears I think that may happen, but actually at the moment I think we're actually looking pretty good where we are right now. So there is a bear scenario we don't talk about too much, but that is the place. I just think we're just too bullish, and that we've probably had a good retrace here, getting structural support from institutional lending, institutional investment, I should say, etc., which we've talked about a lot with the ETFs and the DATs, and of course all the big mega themes coming from the old money market system moving over the blockchain. So and Ethereum benefiting there. And so Bitcoin too from the debt markets. So let's zoom in on some of the big structural buying. Well, Michael Saylor's stretch overnight, the preferred stock, ended up raising another $157 million in the ATM printer. ATM meaning at the market proceeds. Anytime that stretch ticker is over $100, they can issue new shares and get more money and buy more Bitcoin. So that's basically the mechanism there. And they bought another 2,200 Bitcoin. Isn't that amazing? That is spectacular just in that day. So we're doing well with our money printing at the moment. We've also, for the first couple of days of this week, we have, last week, let's talk about last week. Last week, we bought 1,500 Bitcoin with the ATM, and that was during some of the worst days of the Iranian conflict. And so we still did pretty well there, 1,500 Bitcoin. This week already we're up to 3,300 Bitcoin. And so that's exciting stuff, right? Exciting stuff there. So yeah, last night 2,200, the day before on Tuesday 410, and then 686 Bitcoin on Monday. Overall, on Monday we're doing 150% of the miners. The miners are doing 450, and you're buying 686. So you're 150% of the miners there. Tuesday was just slightly below 100, and then almost 5 times the amount of Bitcoin that is being collected by the miners was bought off the market there through the stretch ATM. So things are changing, guys, and this potentially is the iPhone moment of the old Bitcoin. So far, it's doing extremely well right now, and we can see the stretch price is sitting at $100 exactly, getting ready for tonight's ATM for Thursday. So how about that? That's going to be a lot of fun. Bring on another great night of ATM. Are we going to do even bigger? Even bigger? We'll see. Obviously, we haven't quite the momentum of the rebound last night, but keep a lookout for that. People are chasing that 11.5% yield, so that's going to be fun. So that is pretty cool. We also got the other big thing that, other than stretch, we obviously got the ETFs in. Morgan Stanley Spot Bitcoin ETF is officially trading on the New York Stock Exchange. We covered this a couple of days ago, but now it's actually live. This is a mega big news as well. So we've got 2 big items here today, and Morgan Stanley there, pretty exciting. So they've also got the cheapest fee in the market competing against BlackRock. So keep a lookout for this with their IBIT. And Morgan Stanley there got their own client base. What was it? 16,000, I think, agents selling Bitcoin now to all their client base. It's going to be fun to see, guys. It is game on from here. So that's why we're feeling very, very bullish with things. right now. So that is a very exciting news. Brings us to Ethereum. Ethereum at the moment, we've got the 50-day at $2,150, and we've got the 200-day at $2,684. We are currently, like Bitcoin, looking much stronger here over the 50-day moving average. We're at the very much above the top of the range, testing support as well. You can see that here at 2150. So we're in a pretty important decision zone right now. Onwards and upwards, we have a slight high increase there, a higher low, I should say, on the 30th of March. So things are looking a lot more optimistic here. And if this peace ceasefire can lead to something concrete, we say that you're still dealing, even if you're dealing with the third, fourth level of the Iranian regime, you're still dealing with people that would probably put your knife in your back. So you got to be careful there. But we'll see how we get on. It's better news than before. So 2177 there, and we'll see how we go on the old Ethereum. And that's pretty much it. So obviously we're going to be looking for Monday next week with Bitmine Immersion, and of course get a full week's update of how much Ethereum they've bought for the week. The last 2 weeks they've bought 71,000 Ethereum, so around about $150 million a piece, and they stored about $850 million in cash. The MNAV is still not above 1 at the moment, so it's still compared to Strategy, which has an MNAV about 1.4, 1.14, 1.16, somewhere in that ballpark. They're still able to issue common stock and buy Bitcoin there too. So we're going to see that release on Monday as well, between Stretch and the common stock MSTR be issued, and the total amount of Bitcoin they've bought that way via debt and via equity. And of course, but for Ethereum with Bitmine, it's still below 1 at the moment. Pretty close. I mean, it's about 9.94, 9.6 or something last time I looked. So it's pretty close to 1. Once they get over 1, they can go to market, issue more common stock, and be accretive in their additions. Remember, that's their policy, is only to issue more common stock for Bitmine Immersion BMNR when it's above 1. So that therefore they're not diluting and they're accreting. If ETH buys, they're raising more cash. So keep a lookout for that in the next couple of weeks. Actually, it could be next week, could be the next week after. We could see that MNAV go positive, and it could be another additional buy for Ethereum there, just ramping up their cash as well. So kind of interesting there. Keep a lookout for next week's numbers there. All right, also helping support the price, right? But move higher. All right, so that is pretty much the overview there. We've got some updates around Ethereum. We've got a crossover between Ethereum and Pulse Chain here with Richard Hart. So Richard Hart put a pretty interesting comment out. Now, I don't know if many of you know, but Ethereum is looking to do an OTC here. And I don't know why that's not going up to the top there. I'm not sure why that is going there. But we got Ethereum is doing, in response to Ethereum, why is it not following up to the top? We got Ethereum is selling buy a TWAP, so time weighted average price. They're going to be selling on CowSwap. I think it's another 5,000 Ethereum, I think it was. And so that they're saying it's for research and development and everything. Basically, they're all self-funding, and we know that Vitalik's been selling ETH too over the years. It's all a bit of a joke, but I guess that's all they've got. If they apparently can't raise funds elsewhere, they're selling their Ethereum down. And the other hand, it's redistribution to new players. We already saw Bitmine Immersion do an OTC, a week or so ago for 5,000. So who knows? But they're wanting to get ready for Quant to make them, Ethereum protected from Quant and follow Vitalik's new roadmap, right? To be more DeFi and more privacy. So I don't know. Obviously, a lot of problems. Obviously, we're expecting bullish things for Ethereum, but they've still got a lot of problems with the CeFi and reporting side of things. So we'll see. Anyway, Richard responds, says, fun fact, it's rumored I've bought so much more Ethereum than you. So there we go. That's a pretty interesting comment. That could mean a few things there. But Richard responded to that, which I thought was funny. All right, so that leads us into more Pulse Chain coverage. Ian Heinisch, one of the big influencers in the Pulse Chain, he's got 78,000 followers. He says the marketing we're about to do for Pulse Chain could be bigger than anyone can even think. Seriously, this is next level. Richard could never, and he probably won't repost it, but it won't matter. So there we go. That is from Ian Heinisch there, putting a bit of a challenge. There we go. So St. Wolf says, can't wait. Everyone is pretty excited there. So you'll see soon. Now, we know that he's been doing advertising for Ice Wars, which is kind of a new innovative sort of boxing on ice skates, I think it is. And we know that Firewall was doing some support for that around sponsorship as well. But it looks like they're going to the next level here. So hopefully reach a lot of people, a lot of new people there. And just one of the things that might really add some attention, some new users to the old Pulse chain. So we'll keep a lookout for that. So keep up the good work there, Ian, on that one. And that leads us into Pulse chain. Let's have a look at where Pulse chain's fared overnight. Obviously, Pulse chain there still hunting the bottom of the chain in terms of the price. We got day 1063. For those that are new to Pulse chain is a full system state fork of Ethereum based on the 10th of May 2023. It went live a couple of days later on the 30th of May. And here we are 163 days later. Pulse at the moment is at 50732 US dollars there, or US cents, we might say, sub-cents or mini cents. We got down 3.4%. We got PulseX at the moment at 50578, down almost 5%. The buy and burn on GoPulse says 8.82%. We've got Ink token at the moment at 33 cents, down 8%. And we've got Hex at the moment at just under 1400th of a penny, down 1.8%. So Hex is actually the best performer today. And EHEX there is at 0.0061. Combined price of PHEX and EHEX is sitting at just below 2/10 of a penny. 2/10 of a penny there. And there we go. That is the numbers for Pulse chain. Of course, so we got a bit of a down day on the retrace there after the big run up overnight. We got the beats at the moment, 660,000 beats. We've been down here for some time, so that's super cheap there. We got the price of a PulseX swap at 2/10 of a penny, so it's cheap to do business on Pulse chain. We're sitting at 50,464 active validators right now, and a bridge at the moment is sitting at 69.7 million. We're only a couple 100,000 from that 70 mil mark, which we've been trying to get back over as well on a consistent basis. I think we popped over there once and still struggling there. Now, looking at Pulse chain, let's have a look at that. Pulse chain obviously down 3.9%. We can see the monthly chart here. I did post this the other day on X, and we can see that on the monthly there, we've had a lot of red months, right? Even once we got free from the SEC, down we went, right? Down we went. We've had a lot of issues there, around copy contracts, maker, compound, etc. We've had issues around sacrifice, set, all that sort of stuff, dump in the market, and lots of bots and other things going on, right? So had a lot of down months. We got another one at the moment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So people haven't had much fun looking at the US dollar portfolio on Pulse chain. And so you get comments out there in the community like Pulse chain's over, it's dead, it's gone. So liquidity is pretty thin, obviously, on Pulse chain. That also makes it easy to pump higher too. And we're a chain that's that's got a ton of developers building on it. So it's not a chain that the ghost chain really does have a lot of activity being done on it, and that bodes well. We also obviously have Richard Hart in the background working for Pulse chain season, and obviously he has access to capital that can absolutely transform these charts. So we've got two big things happening there at the moment. Teams really working hard, building out some really frontier DeFi on Pulse chain that you don't see elsewhere. And we've also got Richard Hart in the background working hard as well, along with the Magic Carp ride potentiality for those that perhaps are able to survive this down chart. Now, obviously, for people that are coming in, buying here, it's a fantastic zone. You can buy so much Pulse now. You can basically buy a billion Pulse for $7,300 US dollars. It would have cost you about $85,000 if you had done the sacrifice set. So there we go. It's a huge opportunity right now to come in here, and well below the whale price that people got for sacrifice 2. And of course, a lot of those Hexkins that sacrifice also down here, not a great place to sell. So yeah, we're going to keep watching that. We're at 73.34 right now, 5 zeros. Now, will this blue line play out here? It's kind of aspirational there, like a V recovery, and also backed on the fact that ETH always does a V recovery. So will we see one here as well? And we'll also see that the altcoin charts are looking pretty friendly as well for an altcoin season, although typically they go one after another, right? So that is kind of where we are right now with this chart. So pretty key mark there. All right, so we've got a bit of work to do. The RSI on the monthly is down at 36, but let's have a look at a closer view there on the weekly. Weekly, we're skimming along the bottom. It's at 30. We have got a green week at the moment, so hopefully that will help. And we probably do need to get over 1200, right? So we've got to lose a zero, get over 1200. So it's a bit of work to do on the weekly to get to move out of this bottom here, to start printing some new highs, right? And get out of this mega downtrend that we've had for 8-9 months. So that'd be a 61% move there. So it's going to take a bit of a work and maybe a few weeks of consolidation to get there, and maybe a market maker to come into play. So keep looking out for that. We have got Liberty Swap is about to launch a yield product and designed to increase liquidity and turnover. So that could be a catalyst as well. So that's something that we're looking at pretty closely, and their launch is getting very close. It's slightly delayed, but it does seem to be getting very close within another 24 hours window, let's say. So that's kind of where we look for at the moment. Let's jump over to the daily, see how that's going. Well, we're just bouncing off the bottom there a little bit. So initial targets, I guess, we've got going here is at 7,800, so it's a little bit higher than where we are. Moving to, that's the 21 moving average. So really want to get back over this 21 moving average on the daily. Pretty strong one there. And then of course we've got 5 zeros 90 100 on the 50-day moving average above that. We've certainly got plenty of room to move. Just need a little bit of volume and a little bit of positivity there. But I think we've got quite a bit of that in the outlook there. This Iranian ceasefire, of course, is going to be volatile. But I do think, if Tom Lee's right there and there's a lot of substantiation for that, we should be able to move higher eventually over the next week or two. All right, so let's jump over to the 4-hour to have a look at the trader's view. We're down at 50 here after having a bit of a rally. Look at a little bit of rally there overnight. And, let's see if we can bounce from here, if not from 41, and move back over the 21. We're kind of sitting just below the 21 moving average on the 4-hour right now. So we definitely want to get over that. Getting over the 50 there would be pretty nice. It's only just slightly higher than where we are right now. Let's say 7,400 to get that moving forward. So as long as we keep this higher low, 7,200, and don't go back to this 6,900 mark, I think we're going to be pretty fine. So that's Pulse Chain overall. Let's get into the top performers in the top 100. This is the default view for Dick Screener. No, not financial advice, do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. We've got 3.8 million in total volume, excluding the balance of forks. And then we've got 250,000 transactions at the moment. We've only got a few projects in green right now. Remember, we've got 4.8% for Gizmo here. We've got Rhino 5, which has pretty innovative treasury tokenomics and buy and burns, their 28-day cycle. That's up 3.6% there. Looks like they're going to be doing a lot more things with True DeFi team as well, kind of the managed fund, as I call it, for lack of a better word. And that is up 3.6% at the moment. So nice there from Rhino. Liberty up 2.8% at the moment, and a UFO in the mix there from PDC, the Greys. That is up 2.5% as well. Treasury build there from James Maria at 1.5%. And then we've got one of the hex pairs there up slightly on small liquidity, and stacks there up slightly green as well. So we've only got 8 coins that are in the green on the default view for trending, and then everything else is in the red. So let's go down and see who's doing badly today on the pullback. Well, Pepe was really pumping last night, was the number one coin. I think when we were watching it, you can see that green candle made the number one, and then it came down. I think it was post the live stream yesterday, and then it came back down again. So, it went, what a day in the office it was. So it was 4 zeros, 7,600, went up to 3 zeros, 2,200, and now it's at 3 zeros, 15. So what a ride that has been there on the daily for Pepe, the main coin there. So yeah, that was up 190%. So 3x, it's still up 2x at the moment, just under 2x right now, and that's been around for a year and 2 months. Pump tire juice, is it pump tire? I think it might be a pump tire juice one. The other one that's down is some of the peacocks, right? All the trifectas are down. ZKP for the Pruvex is down 14%, so a bit of profit taking there. And that did a little, I said that yesterday, I said it was a little bit hot, right? And I said it had to cool off a bit. That turned out to be true. So there we go. And the market pullback as well. So that sort of helps. We got, that's still printing out. Nice yields though, down 14% today. Zero Trust as well, been doing a lot of DeFi. They're down 12.8% right now. So it's tied into the Peacock, and they've got their own DeFi they're doing. And that is sitting at 0.4 of a penny right now on the price. This is the weekly candles. So not too bad there. Let's go to the daily actually, and screen it out. So they're down a little bit over the last day. And the pulse ratio is what we really care about. And that is still looking pretty spectacular. Look at that. Is that good? Yeah, that's pretty good. So great looking chart there. and is at 560, but down from 626 pulse per zero. So that's pretty cool. I think we might have some news about that too. We might pick that up with Liberty Swap. Now, talking about Liberty Swap, we've got Peacock at the moment, down 12.8%. And I did look at the chain analysis a little bit last night because even though it was a very bullish environment, Peacock was getting some sell pressure, and it was because of a wallet on page one. So one of the top 50 holders. I think they started off with, I don't know, maybe 5 million Peacock or something like that. And they were selling down a lot of their Peacock. So they were exiting the position. I don't know where they went with all that, but that's what they were doing. And so that put some sell pressure on Peacock counterintuitively. So compared to the news that was coming with new launches and with the general bullishness around the ceasefire, or at least the provisional one there. So that is down 12.73% at the moment. So let's have a quick zoom on that. We are expecting an imminent launch for them for one of their main products, the yield one potentially, and the liquidity building, which was very, very important, I must say. So this is currently at, you can see the red candle there last night. In fact, we might go to the hourly candle so you can sort of see that in play. So you can see the wicks here from the seller selling down here with these volumes. So they sold down several million there. In fact, I think we might have, let's go to the wicks here. You can see the wallet 78 was the main seller there. So a page one large holder and probably a shark level, I think they were. And so they have been selling down on there. I'm not sure if how much they got left, but they sold 2.2, but I still think they got a bit left there. So we'll see what they do in the future there. All right, so that is Liberty Swap. The ratio to pulse, we've been looking at that, right? So let's have a look at that. Still looking pretty good despite the seller. I mean, we were up at 1900 yesterday when I was doing live stream. Obviously, seller has taken some of that pulse out, and we bounced all the way down to 1600. With a little bit more buying, we're back at 1700 right now, still sitting just over the 21 moving average too. So that's bodes pretty well. And we got an imminent potential launch, right? So let's go have a look at Liberty Swap and let's see what their latest info is on that. So let's bring them up and see how they're getting on there. All right, so we're 37 minutes on the hour, doing pretty good today. I've 2 days ago did 2.5 hour live stream. Yesterday I did an hour and a half live stream. Today's going to be a quick live stream. It's not going to be that long. It's kind of comical. We're mixing and mingle around here. But we have got some good updates from Liberty Swap. Let's go through those. They've been teasing a little bit too. We are waiting for their launch. They've been bit of fun and games on here with some of the people that are supporting the teams. A little bit from Zero Trust that we talked about as well. Now they're going to be doing something, I think, here as well. What is this? They've got some payment system, Helios Pay. So they were doing something with these guys. So you can check that out if you want to with Zero. But we are waiting for their live. Where are we going here? We're going up here. So they were talking about here. Other chains have been building extensive zero fee on and off ramps, rails to USDC and USDH, and that's actually a good thing. Gives Pulse Chain the opportunity to benefit from fast, free, and seamless fiat. This season belongs to us, Pulse Chain. Stay strong and keep your hopes high, my friend. So we are almost there, they say. So they're getting there, guys. So not only this looks like a yield generator, potentially a stable coin coming in the mix. Something around. Been talking a lot about stable coins as well. If it's not Richard Hart, they're doing a lot of the vision, aren't they? Doing a lot of the roadmap. So that's kind of it. I'm just trying to find their comments here. Time to bridge and sell the Pulse Chain, absolutely. Let me scroll down here a little bit here. Almost there. So someone says, 20 hours of counting. Something we released in 24 hours. That was an hour ago. Almost there. So they've got another hour to go. But I suggest to you, they're probably going to be maybe a few hours late. We'll see. I mean, they might launch it just after the live stream. But we are looking for their second big release for this month. A huge one, potentially, around yield, liquidity, and potentially some sort of stable coin association. We'll see. That last one's still question mark, but they've been talking a lot about that lately. We'll see what that all means. I'm just trying to see whether they got any comments here that of interest. RWA. So RWA, we've got tokenization there. They will move the Pulse Chain 24/7 instant there, says Liberty Swap. else we got here at the moment? If Pulse Chain were to come back, and with most liquidity having been pulled from PulseX pools, so this is very important during the sell-off. Obviously, we're down to very thin liquidity on Pulse Chain now. We looked at the chart earlier. It would likely need to rebuild its liquidity base. This could mean forming new pools, and I think this is very interesting. New pools around decentralized stablecoins. So this is what I'm talking about with the hint here. Not only are they launching some sort of yield liquidity pool product, which is desperately needed for Pulse Chain, let alone multi-chain. This is pretty interesting around decentralized stablecoins. Possibly something like USD, SUSD, or EUSD, or EUSD Tether. But of course, people have responded to those in kind. You can see a lot of the comments on those and some of the sub posts here. So we'll see. Emmett says rebuilding liquidity is one step, making it stay is step two. Yeah, it can be a lot more difficult there. So we're going to keep out there. I like this here from $10 here. We got the old Peacock $10. That was kind of cool. Anyway, so I'm in it for it, says Ubisoft. So we're getting pretty close, guys, to whatever they've got planned. It's coming. So imagine Ethereum guys rushing to Pulse Chain to trade and earn some yield. So you can see it's going to be a big product, guys. I'm very excited about it. So there, I think the native stablecoin is much needed. No more bridging in and out. The value would stay on the chain there. So kind of cool. I did make comments about liquidity forks. That they're fantastic. They earn good yield, but they don't really circulate. Most of it gets restaked in the platform. I don't know, was 85 to 95% or something. So having a stablecoin that's going to move around a bit, create some economic energy, could be pretty positive as well. Obviously, this one's looking to do yield generation too. There's only one stablecoin that could grow when we pair it, SUSD. So we'll see where they land on the list with the stablecoin. A native coin that never leaves the chain, like Peacock, that would be Ubisoft. Yeah, they will need to rebuild liquidity pools, and this is a good opportunity to do so. So it looks like they're taking the opportunity there after the PulseX and the incentive token inflation being cut to basically zero and liquidity being removed. And no doubt the final liquidity is probably going to get removed from PulseX if it hasn't already. I haven't checked it recently on V1. But these guys are coming up with something good, guys. Got great brand recognition, great momentum. And so this could end up being very successful from that point of view. So yeah, very interesting stuff there. So we're going to keep tabs on that. Could be any hour now that they launch their second biggest announcement. The first one, of course, was the SDK APIs, which teams have already started to pick up, and that's going to expand the reach across many more sites and stuff, new users. But this one here is the big one here with the old liquidity yield product potentially, and maybe stablecoin. We'll see where they land, land with this. So, and then of course the third big one we're expecting for the month is the wallet, right? So we're looking for the wallet this week. Sorry, not this week, this month. That's definitely plausible with the ZKP. So we'll keep a lookout for that, and that could be really, really exciting. Also, if you're holding Peacock, there's an airdrop in there as well. So we'll find out more about those details. All right, so that is where we are right now. Those are getting up to the big one for Ubisoft. It could be pretty cool. We'll see where this chart goes from here. All right, so that is Ubisoft there. Moving a bit higher here, got a few others in here. Zendog, part of the trifecta there, down 9%. So Peacock getting a little hit there. But as I say, there was a big page one whale. And the reason why that was interesting, because I was looking at the Pulse Chain chart and I was going, the Pulse Chain chart's getting sold down. And it looked like the Peacock whale, or Peacock shark, I should say, was selling back down at a Pulse, and that was affecting the Pulse back in the stable coins, I think it was. So that's how that followed that up and thought, that's interesting. Let's go see where that's coming from. And I clicked, and it was the Peacock trade. So there we go. Let's put action there. Now we're going to have a quick look at ProveX. Obviously, ProveX there being pretty interesting since this is Richard Hart's latest. It's down 7.7% at the moment. So twice as much as Pulse is down. Now we've got some overlays there, but we are sitting here below on the daily, below the 21 moving average is at 7,600. We're at 71 right now, obviously with the market momentum down to the downside, and we've got the RSI at 53, but the 4 hours been pretty reliable, and we've still got a bullish move across here, and it seems to be holding up relatively well. We've still got a higher low in play, right? So we've still got we're at 6,700 over here. We had a higher low, high, still in play here. Obviously got some support at 6,800 right now, following that 21 moving average on the 4 hour. and we're cooling off on the RSI at 58, which I said it would need to do. I think I posted an update on that yesterday. And so, if we can support this line here, then I think the target that I had, if I remember right, let's go find it, because I can't remember off the top of my hand. I think it was 9,100. We're at 7,100 now. But those things have to remain intact, right? So let me just scroll down here on Pulse Chain, Prove XCM. So I had next targets 9,300, and the RSI is good on the daily, right? So we've got plenty of room there. So yeah, let's see where that heads. We had that nice cross there, the 21 over the 50, and you can see that back here. Obviously, with the market pulling down, a bit of sediment there. But once again, if we hold this 6,900, let's say, I think we're looking good. Hold these high lows, high highs, and that 9,300 target is in view, right? So that's all the way up here. Is the target there. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Keep a lookout for that for sure. And we'll keep a lookout for Liberty Swap today. Looks like maybe in the next hour, maybe in the next few hours, they may be on time for their launch. For their big yield generator liquidity protocol, whatever they're doing there. So we're going to keep our lookout for that. Could be huge for Pulse Chain. Since it's really the Kraken project right now on Pulse Chain. We've got a lot of other cool teams, obviously, as I always mention, doing a lot of great things. We're looking forward to Fast Abdul's Vault 369 launching at the right time, and potentially Coinwell too, if that's still on the roadmap, or either waiting for the market sentiment to turn. We'll keep a track on that as well. And we've got several other projects happening from the farms. They're doing well also. So there's quite a bit in the mix there. Obviously, a lot of protocols are probably backlogged on Pulse Chain. They're waiting for market sentiment to really turn, and we would have a flurry of launches, no doubt, once that happens. We'll keep a lookout. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. How we're doing for time? 47 minutes is my quickest show that I've done for a while now. So keep a lookout, guys, for this. Obviously, good buying at the moment. And if Tom Lee is right, the market is in, and you're buying in a very good zone on not only Pulse Chain, but in crypto generally, especially the majors, right? Like Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right, hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you want to join our strategy club, we've got the QR code there at the bottom. We've also got, obviously, the links in the video description on YouTube, and also pinned to the top of X. You can smash the follow. Go through the Whoop store if you want to join the strategy club. It's just over $1 a day, so really great value there as well. Monster thread number 48 is out, so if you want to get up to date with all the news, you can find that on my profile, and also MBS Crypto. Obviously, he's our promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show, also the editor-in-chief of the Monster thread. So you can find it there. We've got Monster thread number 49 coming up next Monday, and then you guys know 50 weeks after that, man. We're getting close. And then 2 weeks later after that, 52 weeks of the Monster thread. We're so excited about it. It has really been a lot of fun doing it, and helped a lot of people there. I might actually put out some numbers after 52 weeks of how many people it's actually reached and been read by, as pretty much the newsletter for Pulse Chain community. Fantastic stuff. Gets about 35 to 50,000 views a week, and we're in bear market conditions. And so it's a lot of fun. So really, really cool. And it's great to see what all the community's up to every week. I'm sure everyone finds that pretty exciting too. We know there's been a lot of activity around promo pads. We know there's been a lot of activities around birthdays and things like that. There's been a lot of stuff. People having children, babies, twins. There's been a lot of those things. So it's community's up to lots of different things. People climbing mountains. I mean, it's just, we got a pretty awesome community like that. People holding conferences, going to parties. I mean, it's all there, as well as all the DeFi that gets covered from all our top tier teams. So it's a lot of fun there. All right, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Until then, c'est la vie. All right, bye for now. Take care.